I am a stone. I'm a stone, but not like a regular stone, like a pebble you pick up at the beach, or a brick that you build a house or a school with. I'm a precious stone. Actually, I'm more precious than a gemstone. I'm more precious than a priceless diamond, more precious than a scarlet ruby or a beautiful pearl from the bottom of the ocean. I am absolutely unique, unmatched. There's no other stone like me anywhere. I am old. I am ancient. I am sacred. I have a special place just for me in the Holy Kaaba, the house of Allah, which Abraham and his son Ismail built. I am the black stone. A long time ago, the people of Mecca, they had to rebuild the Kaaba. So they all worked together in the building. But once they'd finished all the work, everybody wanted to put me back in my place. But they couldn't decide who was going to do it. There was a huge disagreement between all the tribes of Mecca. They all wanted the honor of carrying me and putting me back into my special corner of the Kaaba. And soon, every single tribe was ready to wage war and fight for that honor. The angry shouts got louder and louder. The disagreement got worse and worse. All the separate tribes began readying their finest armor and their deadliest swords. And it was all my fault. They were all fighting over me. This is no place to fight. This is the Holy Kaaba. I prayed to Allah that He would find a solution so that we could avoid any bloodshed. After all, the Kaaba is the house of safety, the house of peace. All that enter it safe. Suddenly, a wise voice rose from amongst the crowd and said, "O people, what is this? What is this? Fighting in the sacred house?" They all replied, "Do you have a solution that we'll be satisfied with and that we'll all agree on?" How about this? The first person to enter the holy mosque, he gets to decide upon what we'll do about this matter. But then we'll all have to accept his judgment and we'll all have to back down to it. Everybody agreed it was a good idea, and so their voices grew quiet, and they all waited for the first person to enter upon the holy mosque, each one of them hoping that it would be someone wise and just, but secretly wanting that it was someone from their tribe so that they would get the upper hand. They all waited in silence, and I waited with them. It was only a short time, but it felt like forever. And then somebody said, "I see a young man coming from afar." Everyone looked over to where the speaker was pointing, and we saw a young man coming closer. And then we recognized him. And everybody shouted in relief and joy, "It's Muhammad, son of Abdullah." The wise man, the one whose idea it was, said, "Will you accept his judgment?" And everybody agreed, "Yes, of course. He's the Amin. He's the trustworthy one." The young man Muhammad entered the mosque. And the old man turned to him and said, "O Muhammad, as you know, we rebuilt the Kaaba. And all the tribes gathered together and helped in the building work. Now all that remains is to place the black stone back into its place in the Kaaba. But that's the problem. You see, every tribe wants the honor of carrying the black stone and putting it in its place. And now, because of this disagreement, we're on the brink of war. So, we have all decided that you should judge between us. Tell me, young man, what do you think? The young Muhammad looked at me, the black stone, and then he turned and looked at all the tribes and thought for a moment. He stood up and removed his cloak and spread it out on the ground. And then, with his two blessed hands, he picked me up and placed me in the center of his cloak. He then called the leaders of the tribes and said, "All of you come here, and each one of you hold onto a side of my cloak." And so they all lifted the cloak and the black stone in its middle and carried it to the corner of the Kaaba, where Muhammad lifted it with his own hands and put it back in its place. Everybody looked on in disbelief. They were amazed by this simple idea. And me, the black stone, I was amazed with them. How did it not occur to any of them? And they were the leaders of their tribes and their elders. They were all very pleased with this young man and his wonderful idea. And since that blessed day, I have remained in place in the Kaaba. The people of Mecca come to see me, and the pilgrims to Allah's sacred house come and see me too. I remind them of that incident that happened so long ago, where Muhammad got to show the people of his wisdom and his greatness while he was still just a young man.